Oh, dude, you shot him in the dick.
Huh?
That's not cool, Butters. You don't shoot a guy in the dick.
And you don't. That is a rule that we need to have forever and ever and ever. How goes it, window lickers? How goes it, Grun's friends? Any chaos goblins out there? It's another Monday Night Raw preview review show brought to you by IYH and built by Window Licker. So here we are. Here it is. Here it is. A new day, my friends. We are back on a Monday. And guess what, fans? I really want to tickle your brains, get the brains going. So we're going to hit you with a new little segment here. And here's a little opening.
Oh, dude, you shot him in the dick.
Huh?
That's not cool, Butters. You don't shoot a guy in the dick.
It's going to happen every time. All right. So, fans, friends, everybody, this is independent thought. This is a new thing we're doing here. So, this is going to be something that we're going to bring to you if this plans out right and everybody enjoys it. And it's just a different thought outside of wrestling. We're going to explore more of a mental capacity. We're going to explore thought processes. And I'm going to say this first. No right or wrong answers. No nothing of that. We're just going to discuss the topic, and your feelings are your feelings on this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about synchronicity. If you ever heard about it, it's a fun thing. So let's get into it. All right, buckle up, you beautiful truth seekers, you cosmic conspiracy nuts, you tinfoil hat young boys. It's time to talk about synchronicity. So, in a mind of synchronicity, we kind of we may overlook it, we may not see it all the time, we may not understand even what that means. What is synchronicity? It's pretty much so. If you Let me put it in a really easy way. If you have a thought board, an image board, and you project that thing, you do it all the time, you practice it, you look at it, and you start thinking those things. Sometimes synchronicity will happen in your life in which you start getting those things. You start seeing something, a puzzle get put together, and then those things happen. It's the same with, there's a story of two twins who were separated at birth. They both got the same name from the parents that both adopted them, both sets. And on one day, well, hold on, they both became police officers. They both married women with the same names. They both got a divorce and then remarried women with the same names. And they both had dogs named the same thing. One dies by a car, a taxi hitting him. A year later on that street, the other brother walking, doing his beat, gets hit by the exact same taxi with the exact same person traveling in that taxi. Synchronicity. That is considered some synchronicity. So, my question to you guys: do you guys believe in synchronicity? Do you think it happens? Do you think that it's a part of the world, the reality in which we live? Because some theorists say this type of thinking will change reality. So therefore they think reality is not a one directional place. You are able to control the matrix while within the matrix.
So just so that I understand the topic and such, because I haven't heard as much about synchronicity. Annie and I talk about things related to it based on what you're saying. Could I relate it in synonym form, at least casually, to like the butterfly effect? Like if one thing happens here, another happens like in a line of events. Or are we talking more about completely unrelated events that seemingly have a relation?
It could be a mixture of both. Okay, so picture this. Picture you're thinking of an old high school crush, okay?
Sure.
You know, the one that might have smelled like patchouli, might have had some dreadlocks, you know, whatever your high school crush was.
Sure.
You walk into a coffee shop and What's playing? The exact song from a mixtape that she made you. Then you look at the barista's name tag. It's your crush's name. Coincidence? No, that's synchronicity. That is the belief of synchronicity because it's you heard one thing. Okay,
Okay,
so
so it's not like butterfly effect. It's more like willing the universe to your desires.
exactly.
Okay.
But there could be a butterfly effect in that,
Right.
depending on what you
They
will.
could be comorbid in the sense that they could be occurring at the same time, but they won't necessarily be related. If
Yeah.
that's kind of what it's a different concept. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to verify that.
No, I got you.
Um, because I kind of believe in I don't necessarily know that synchronicity as an entirety of a concept
Hmm.
is valid. Only because I think it takes more than one thought pattern to will it.
Okay.
At the same time, psychologically speaking, confirmation bias is a huge thing. And because confirmation bias is a huge thing, is if you are specifically thinking about something and then you hear it, you will make that connection. I'm not
Okay.
saying that you can't necessarily will those things, because if you are thinking about them, you will gravitate the universe towards yourself. And that is something I do believe in the sense that if you want more opportunity and you keep pushing yourself toward more opportunity, the opportunities will fall at your doorstep because you are working towards them and because you desire them.
Okay.
But there is some level of chance, pomp, circumstance to it rather than complete will of the mind. I would put it that way. There's a lot more factors than just I thought about it, therefore it happened.
Oh, okay. I like that. I like that. Grun, where are you at in your little Philly mind?
So I have always believed that there is some form of logic you can use, common sense math or something adjacent to math to understand the world and understand life. At
Okay.
the same time, I have also believed that to assume everything is predictable is outrageous.
The fallacy.
Yeah. So I I would say I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I don't think that synchronicity isn't a part of reality. But I think there's some sort of blend between a string of coincidences don't happen like that. Like that is something greater. I'm not God, a great creator above the universe, versus whatever you want to call it. It's something that we do not have the current capacity to understand or fathom.
Okay.
Wow, Grun.
That makes sense.
That was very, very well put, Grun.
I think it's interesting to bring science into it as well, because
Oh yeah,
they can this can loosely be applied to the Newton's three laws of essentially physics, and I mean there are many Newton laws, thermodynamics, things like that.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at the base ones of force, the third law is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if we're thinking along the lines that thought processes are made up of neural impulses and some level of force, some level of electrical things, then there must be a reaction to it. Because we all give off energy, and because there's a law of conservation of energy and matter in the universe as well, if we are giving off that energy in some kind of form, we can expect it to come back to us. It's weird. Annie and I have talked about this a lot too, in the sense that if we're giving off energy and it can't be created or destroyed, it can only be transferred. Things like death would put us back into the universe because our
Exactly.
energy would be put back into it.
Yep. It never stops.
And that's kind of where people start trying to measure souls or something along those lines. And I think, in fairness, I don't really know that souls exist. I don't. But I do know that we are all made of energy. And because we are all made of energy, right now, everything around us is all probably some level of dead energy from some creature to some extent. So right now I'm in an apartment, made of, I don't know, 10,000 wolves that died. Like, these are possibilities.
Yeah, no, I see exactly what you're saying. I believe that full-heartedly with the energy, because it can get to anything. And what an old boss of mine, what we love to discuss, like when we'd be going through the mountains down south and stuff like that, um, or even the woods, we would talk about how we wanted our energy to be imprinted in like a big massive stone that's never getting moved, or a big tree that they'll never cut down because of the size of it. Things like that. Just, I don't know. It's interesting discussion. It's like the same discussion he had with me. Like, he was a real religious guy. He knew I wasn't, but he liked to entertain me with discussions, and he believed that once you die, if you go to a place called heaven, that you have a job in which you do up there, and it's all for the Lord. And he wanted to make the throne, and I just always thought that was so cool, just to somebody know, for somebody to have so much faith that they know the job they want to do when they get to their final destination. And I don't know. It was just he never really pushed religion on me, he was just open and talked about it. So
I always felt like religion to an extent shouldn't be pushed on children. Like,
No.
I understand wanting to have them in some kind of belief and morals. Like, that is part of your job as a parent. I'm not a parent, but as I guess a special education teacher, spoiler. I think I've talked about it on here before.
Yeah, we've spoiled that a couple times.
As a special education teacher, like, I feel I'm a pseudo parent to a lot of children and a lot of students and teenagers.
Well, you're with them 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Pseudo parent.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially those that are on my caseload, because I'm with them for 4 high school years usually. So they're with me for 4 years, 8 hours a day
Wow.
during the school year.
That's awesome, though.
So that means they get to get taught life lessons by Mr. Kalloway. But regardless, that is part of your job, but it doesn't necessarily have to be through staunch religious teachings.
Right.
And I think that's where I kind of disagree with it. If you want to teach a moral and kind of a belief system in general, I'm okay with it, and expose them to your belief system and your religion. But the second you start forcing them to believe it, I think that's where you're starting to get into gray areas to me.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That's what got me out of religion at a young age. At least the going to the church one. I read about others.
You know what? And that never not to bash on Christianity, because there are many religions that run into this problem, especially when it becomes organized. I never understood the reason that you needed to go to church. Like, why do you need to go to this specific place? Your relationship with God or whatever you believe in is yours, correct? That's what the scriptures are saying. So if this is the case, why do I need to go there at 9 a.m. to talk to people I don't like?
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
I know.
I mean, as someone that was forced to go to church every Sunday.
I got confirmed under the Lutheran religion.
Yeah, I would probably say that it has to do with having a belief that going to church you are closer to God. You are making an effort, but at the same time, like, I would also argue that while that might be true in some aspect, if the person is not actively wanting a relationship with God, it doesn't really matter where they are. I also like, I know lots of people disconnect from the church, and maybe they don't go full on back, but later in life they'll have at least an appreciation of the idea of God and faith and the values that it can provide.
And I do think that comes from a general human fear of death.
Yes.
You want to believe there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
And because I've felt myself even gravitating towards different things because of that. It's like, like I'm getting older.
Yeah.
So you find yourself gravitating naturally towards those because you want to believe there's something more after you go. And we will never know. It's just more comforting to think that there is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the one thing I will say about going to church is, and we can get off the topic before we go too far into religion because I
Yeah.
keep going.
Oh, I was going to put a pin in it right after you.
I'm fascinated by religions.
Dude,
I've studied quite a
trust
few.
me, my mind's running like a hamster on a wheel.
But one thing I will say in general, for gathering places for any religion, synagogues, temple, churches, anything like that, what it does build, if you have a good one, is a community. And a
Very true.
community is something that we all really need, because right now, no matter what side of any kind of anything you're on, we have lost community as a people. And man, it's brutal out there because of it.
Yeah. Beautifully put. I love that. I don't know how you guys felt about that discussion. It kind of led into other discussions, but I think that was fun. And I would like to continue doing these things where we have a subject, we talk about it, and then we see where it goes for the first 10, 15 minutes. I think it sparks a pretty good debate, especially with us three. I like where we all went with that. And notice fans, it was very respectful. There was no name calling. All three of us come from different backgrounds. We may be the same shade of wheat, but we have different backgrounds altogether. Oh, I think Kevin dropped. We'll get him back on. Almost. Yeah, he'll be back on. But we'll jump into Raw talk here. Grunmeister, my Philly friend. Grunmeister. I would like to say first, before we get into any topics, I'm loving Raw lately. I'm loving wrestling, period, lately. I think we're hitting on some really good strides. I think we're coming up to a point in which we're going to start seeing some people we know leave. John Cena being specifically one of them.
Yep.
I don't think we have Becky Lynch too much longer. I think maybe a 2 to 3 year run with her would probably be tops that I see with her. But I want to get your thoughts, Grun. Where are you at in the field of wrestling right now?
In the field of wrestling right now, so when I am fully paying attention, I am interested. I am dedicated to it. Like this is a whole new world, because when John Cena was having his legendary run as champion, it was kind of like unfathomable to believe that a pro wrestler would do anything other than pro wrestling. And now Becky Lynch, she's loving working with Hollywood movies, TV shows, whatever. Seth Rollins has done a little bit of that, but at the same time, he's owns a coffee shop in Davenport.
Yeah.
Where AJ's looking to spend more time with his kids. He's got, I think, 4 or 5 kids. His oldest just graduated high school. And let's mention this. Scott Steiner's kid, Brock Steiner, is on an NIL contract. Jacob Henry, son of Mark Henry, is also in this, and TJ Hullard, I believe his name is, son of Titus O'Neil, is on an NIL contract with WWE.
Well, that sounds promising. I like that.
Yeah, like this is a whole new world for pro wrestling, and I'm like, I don't know, like, part of me, I see how it's good for the industry, but at the same time, I kind of wish that it wasn't going in this direction. Because Seth Rollins is definitely, this is going to be probably one of his last big runs in WWE. I can see him maybe taking a step back. Maybe he becomes the right hand man to Triple H. Maybe he's moves into that role.
I don't like this. if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like what you're saying. It's making me.
Yeah,
That's what I feel about what you're saying with Seth. I don't want him to leave yet.
no,
He's
no,
doing too well.
he is. So my more theory is that he's not going to particularly leave because I think he loves pro wrestling too much. I think what he'll do is he'll move into. I think he'll maybe maneuver himself into a position where uh what if they had swerve they swerved us tonight and Lesnar makes return challenge.
What if?
I mean, I think I personally, and this is just an opinion because the Janelle Grant stuff is still ongoing and Brock Lesnar has been named in that. I do not believe there is any evidence against Brock Lesnar. I think it's a lot of hearsay, which means nothing. In
Well,
or
yeah, but outside of that,
outside of
let's
that,
go. Let's go with that.
yeah,
Let's go with what if they do swerve us, and it is Brock.
that would be absolutely insane. Because like
Yes, Fightins won. You are correct. They did.
yeah,
Hmm.
I mean like they have not been shy of mentioning Brock Lesnar. So clearly, TKO they have reason to believe that there is that Brock is not going to be a problem. That they could bring him back if they ever wanted to.
Hmm. I like what Annie said here. Given the 2024 Seth had, are we surprised he's in this spot now? No, we're
Nope.
not. I mean, to be honest, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't say he had the. It wasn't a breakout year, was it,
No,
Grun?
no, but
2024.
no, but 2024 was a setup for 2025.
Yeah, I would say that the towards the end of it was way more meaningful than the middle and meat potatoes of that year. So I'm honestly not surprised, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I think the way that they see him work and the way he's able to get the fans behind him whenever he wants, it just makes sense to have Seth in that moment.
Oh yeah,
And and what I love about Seth being in this moment right now is like the Shield 2.0, what we're getting right now. We're getting if Seth was the superstar of that group. You know what I mean? Because he was just one, he was a leg in that group. He wasn't just the star. Everybody was actually pretty big on that one. What's up, Lou? Lou is saying, "What's up, bearded duo Grun? Take that damn hat off." We
how
never.
about no?
How about no? He's gonna keep it. All right, Grun. We're putting pins in things. Boom, boom, boom. We had some really good talk opening up. Enjoyed that, and some really good talk here about the tease of possibly Lesnar instead of Goldberg. I would fucking love it. Let's get into what Annie is saying real quick, and then Grun, we're gonna go into your topic. What if
Okay.
Sami Zayn is the equivalent to Daniel Bryan in 2013? Seth cashes in on him when he wins. That could be interesting. Annie's live in the chat, just dropping some. She better save that for the Raw deal with House of
Yeah.
O'Neil.
Now I definitely buy that Sami Zayn could be a this year's Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel better if we didn't see Sammy win the title until Mania. Yep, I feel like that would be a lot better with the build because it feels like this is uh because it feels like if you keep building Sammy the way you are going to get a massive pop at Royal Rumble if he wins. And then you have all this time to build up and to also focus on the one thing that Sami Zayn does struggle with, and that is doubt. Having doubt that he can achieve something. thing, and then he needs the fans to muster behind him, give him that fighting chance that he always needs, that spirit, that extra oomph to get him across the finish line, and then he does it. He does what nobody thought he could do.
I love it. I love it. Sammy's DB run was.
DB?
Not sure what that meant.
I don't know what
It was
that.
ruined by Roman. Fighting's one saying King Sammy, so we know who he's pulling for in the King of the Ring. All right, Grun, let's get into your topic, my friend. So what do you got for us this week?
For this week, why don't we talk about the Judgment Day? Why don't we? We don't talk about them as much as we used to anymore. Roxanne Perez won the Fatal 4-Way to advance in the Queen of the Ring tournament via pinning Kairi Sane and saving Liv Morgan from the pin. But so I guess the question I have to propose to you is, how is this breakup going to happen? Because I believe this is going to happen.
Oh yeah, I think it's right on the cusp of it, and I think Finn Balor is going to have the biggest hand in this one. He's just shitting and smiling anytime it causes a little controversy. He's like right now, he's being that friend of your group that gets really upset when another friend of the group back in high school like gets a girlfriend and starts hanging out with them more, and then they just start talking shit about you to the other guys in the group because you're not there. You're not doing that. That's what Finn feels like to me. I really I really think it's going to get to a point to where Finn's going to try to do a plan involving Roxanne, and it's going to blow up in his face. And the division's going to become Liv telling Dom he's got to make a choice. And I almost want to say I see Dom choosing himself.
That would be the mature adult thing to do, but I don't think we're at that Dom yet. I think
Okay.
this is all a build because let's I love pointing this out. We were happy that Dominic Mysterio was the son of Rey Mysterio when he debuted for WWE in during the pandemic era. We got bored of him. We got tired of him because it was cookie cutter, basically what you would have expected. And then they throw a curveball, and he turns on his dad, calls his dad deadbeat. He's worst son of the year, and all that build, everything they did with Dom built up to his Intercontinental title win at WrestleMania this past WrestleMania, and it blew the roof off the place. Everyone loved it. It was one of the biggest reactions out of WrestleMania. Yeah, so I think Dom. I don't think he's mature enough to win the world title on camera, but I think if you keep push him into an angle where he needs to learn how to mature, oh man, we are going to get the greatest version of Dominic Mysterio.
All right. Interesting, Grun. So when do you think we hit the best stride with Dominic Mysterio?
I think so I'm gonna backtrack a little bit because you said Dom's gonna pick himself. I think Dom is gonna be upset that nobody's getting along, that Liv and Roxanne and Finn and whoever else, they're all trying to pull him in a different direction, and he doesn't want any of it. So he does that. He goes on his own, but he doesn't know what to do. He looks for somebody to take him under his wing. Logan Paul. And now you've created an opportunity to tell a story of how Dom goes from dirty Dominic Mysterio to babyface Dom taking on dirty heel Logan Paul.
Oh, Grun. You like to mix so much things together, which actually, in a sense, though, kind of sound like they might work. I honestly, I think that we get, uh, we're going to get the mental breakdown of Liv Morgan.
I can see that.
Someone in the chat, I think it was Nick. He said Raquel, Finn, and Roxanne will team up together. In which that would leave Liv without her muscle, which makes sense to me. If Dom chooses to not go with her, that makes sense with me. So therefore, she's by herself. Where does she go from there, though? Because does Liv Morgan really need an entourage? And I'm asking you because you're a fan of her. I could care less. I know sewer rats travel in packs.
I'm no sewer rat. But I will say, I don't think she needs it. I think it's just that path does not look clear as to how does she still benefit from the split, or at least what is the story afterwards.
You could build her into a baby face from there, because you got Roxanne who tried to take her group, her place inside this dominant force known as the Judgment Day. So you're definitely going to have a match between her and Liv. But you can also do the thing where Liv gets a massive win over Raquel, and because of Raquel's size and her dominance in a ring, that makes Liv look way stronger. She goes up against Roxanne. That's your big match. That's your big pop out of all of this. And then after that, you got the basically the Becky Lynch run. Not going to take shit from anybody anymore. Undersized, but always there for a fight, willing to fight, do all that stuff. I don't know. That's what I kind of see with her, in which you could make her, because you would make Dom. Fighting's One is saying Dom and Finn, if done right, could be magic.
I absolutely
agree with that.
Yeah,
that's 100% on that. Yeah, that's, to me, that's the kind of stopping point in the story. I get to Liv, and I wonder where you can go with her.
Yeah, because something is I feel like we'll get a better. I mean, we might get a better idea after Evolution 2.
Okay.
Unless they're not going to do much storytelling. I do agree with fighting that Dom versus Finn. That match is happening. It's just a question of when. I don't know if it should be at SummerSlam, but at the same time, I can see why that would make sense. Dom versus Finn for the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. That's definitely a big match. As for Liv, God, I don't know. I don't know. You could, for the purposes of helping Adriana Rizzo, I believe is her name, in NXT, helping her find herself now that she's now that the family has been broken up. Liv Morgan and Adriana Rizzo, I think that could be an interesting pair up.
That could be. I would watch it. I would see where they go with that. That could definitely work. Yeah, I mean, the one I don't really talk about is Liv Morgan, and to to be here right now and being like, where does she go from here? That's kind of that's where I'm at. Like, I don't know. I don't know how they play her from here.
No.
If they even if they break them up. I mean, right now all we're getting is looks of it.
Yeah.
We don't know where they're going to turn. We don't know what's going to happen in that until it happens. Um
You know what? I just remembered she was just out filming a movie.
mhm.
Um, I think in Tokyo. Um, so if they do split, I might buy into the idea that uh th- that she might spend some time doing more movies in Hollywood or whatever, and like that could be something they can do to create more opportunities for like Julia, for Stephanie Vicker, for Roxanne, and maybe even Jordan Grace.
Hmm.
'Cause-
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, we'll have to keep tabs on that and see where Liv's going to end up
Yeah,
at the end of this split because I mean honestly that's the question. What
it is.
I mean, we kind of all figured where we're doing with Dom, things like that, but what goes on with Liv from that point on? All right, Grun, you got any more raw talk you want to get into?
Any more raw talk that I want to get into? Wow. You know what? I let's Why don't we talk about Ron Killings for a minute?
We can talk about good old Ron Killings.
Ro-
So go ahead, Grun. Let him know about
Dude,
it.
Ron Killings showed up, cut one of his best promos in WWE history, and that is, and for those that might think I'm insulting R-Truth, I'm not. R-Truth's promos were
Mm.
always good. They were always fun. They were always entertaining. But this was fiery. This was passionate. This was making you believe that he could be a world champion.
Yeah.
And he and the best part was that he cut off his dreads.
Mm.
It's like are they really trying to sell us on R-Truth dethroning John Cena? Or I'm sorry, Ron Killings?
I I'm 100% behind it.
I'm not.
I'm being 100% with you. I am still behind the fact I think Ron Killings will be the last match of John Cena and he will stop the title being taken away. I
I'm not.
don't think CM Punk's going to do it.
No,
It's
heck
not going
no.
to happen.
No.
I mean, that's a whole nother discussion
Yeah.
on him today. But I honestly I think that's where they could go with it. And I think with doing that, that is the ultimate thank you to Ron Killings for doing everything that he's done as
It
our
is.
truth, as Ron Killings, because once you do that, you have cemented his name in fan lore. You have cemented his image holding that title and saving wrestling from John Cena destroying it. That's the image you have of Ron Killings. So, yes, do the deep fans have all the fun stuff that he did as our truth? Yes. But just that match overshadows all of that.
Oh yeah.
And it puts him in a category that he deserves to be in because of his dedication and everything he's given us. Everything that he's given us. I think that would be perfect for him. And I don't give a shit what anybody else says about it, to be honest. I mean, I care what you have to say, but
Well, here's what I'm gonna say. I'm not going to fight against that. If that is truly the direction that WWE is going in, you know what? Show me, take me along for the ride. I want to see. Do I enjoy it? Okay, because it feels great. Everything makes total sense, and it would showcase it would shut up all the IWC people that are like, oh, WWE doesn't appreciate their talent. Oh, WWE doesn't. doesn't do this, or like AEW is so much better for these reasons. It's like no, like you guys want an instant gratification. You are the guys that will spend $20 on certain websites to get feet pics. You'll spend $50 to get all these other illicit things for a quick gratification. We don't want that. Well, we don't want quick. We want
Mm.
something enjoyable. We want a meal. We want an entree. We want an entire day, an entire event. We want a great, well-told story that makes us feel, makes us angry, makes us laugh, makes us cry. Why, Lou? Do you have
Out of all that rant, you heard just feet pics.
Lou?
Imagine
Do you
that.
have a problem, sir?
He is a problem. We all know it. We all know it.
Oh,
Yeah, I agree with you, Grun. I think ultimately, if they do that, it's going to be an amazing story. And guess what? I don't need Ron Killings to hold that title
Yep.
more than 30 seconds because
Yep.
right after he wins it, why don't we just have Seth cash in?
And then Seth, then you got a problem right there with Seth Rollins and Ron Killings. It may not be long, but you know what? It should be a good, fun story, a good match where R-Truth or Ron Killings can be brutal and vicious against Seth Rollins, while Seth Rollins takes all of the takes all the credit that R-Truth earned. And Seth Rollins says, I am the savior of the WWE, and I am the savior of pro wrestling. All hail the savior, says Paul Heyman.
Dude, I can see it.
Oh,
Because you know how much hate that would give Seth Rollins for doing that right at that moment. And if they do it right, it could top his WrestleMania moment.
It could. It really could.
If you play your cards right inside this story, there is so much juice for raw human emotion in this. Ron Killings getting the acknowledgement, the nod from the industry that he so deserves. John Cena going out, not delivering on his last promise. The end of Cena Nation. Everything's done with that. And then Seth comes in, the architect of what we're about to see, and he fucking tears it down. I would pay for that. If we could watch that live, I would get tickets and go watch that just because I think that would be the ultimate end to this story. Because
yeah.
honestly, let's be real. No one wants to see CM Punk beat John Cena.
No.
I don't want to see him beat him for it.
No.
What sense would it make to, and like Cena said in his promo, you're just doing what I was doing. Like,
Yeah.
I already did this gimmick. And you're just putting it into yours and then being like, well, it's my last tour. And that's fine and everything. But I don't want to see Cena or I don't want to see CM Punk with that title.
No.
What does it benefit CM Punk to have a title run up until he retires?
It doesn't, because like if you've been watching, you and I, we've been watching, and we know CM Punk barely wrestles because his body can barely handle a regular match. He has destroyed his body in ways that he will not reveal to us.
Mm-hmm.
He will not reveal how broken his body is. Now, I imagine if he spent took the next 3, 4, 5 years off to do stem cells, he might be able to wrestle as if he were 35 again or 40.
It's possible.
Yeah, like from what we've seen, like Rey Mysterio's wrestling better than he did in a long time.
He's also smaller, more compact.
he is smaller, but at the same time, like
He gets
he could,
more mileage out of his tank.
yeah. But
Except when he got chucked like a lawn dart into the semi by Kevin Nash.
yeah, but I mean, like he but I'm like, Rey Mysterio, he got some stem cells for his knees, and now he talked about how he moves around better than he thought he
Oh,
would he ever could.
my father-in-law got stem cells after when he got his knee surgeries, and he said when he got them, he had to go for a couple different treatments for it. But when he said every time he got the stem cell treatment, he would be able to bend down and do all that stuff. It works wonders, and it's not, and the science to it's so much more advanced than what it was back in the day, that it's like they can take basically your stem cells and re-energize them and fucking shoot them right back into you, bud.
Yeah,
They do amazing work out there, and I see where your point is on that. Uh, it it makes me wonder though. Uh, are we gearing up for a corporate CM Punk?
I can see.
Like, not a wrestling CM Punk, but somebody who they put into different roles. Um, Honestly, I think the idea of the character CM Punk that we have in a administration role would be quite entertaining sometimes.
I
I
think
mean, it would be better than the suit wearing dildos we have now.
like,
No, you're never, nobody in the IYH house is going to convince me that Nick and Jackoff Face McGee are anything of entertainment. I'm sorry, they're not.
now hold on. Look, I will never say that anybody could top Teddy Long and Eric Bischoff as the rival GMs. Okay, like I'm
I
not.
miss Vince.
Vince was great. Yeah, like I'm not like w- flaws and all. He knew how to be
Vince was
entertaining
the
as an author.
devil.
Yeah, he knew exactly how to how to play an authority figure in WWE. He is memorable. He is one of the absolute best of all time. But look, Nick and Adam, they're doing fine for the roles that they are currently in,
Oh my
and for
god,
their
here we go.
Eric
Yeah,
versus
are they doing fine with the roles? What's Nick's role? Wear the smallest suit you can find on the rack, and then make this face. Ooh, ooh, I'm Nick Aldis.
their their roles are
Ooh.
their role is a supporting character role where
The only thing they're supporting are nuts. That's the only thing they're supporting. I don't know what you would support on a lady, so I didn't include you guys, but a training bra. There you go. They're supporting budding breast. That's what they do. These nuts. Thank you, Grizz. Yeah, these nuts. That's what they're supporting. I'm sorry. Those two guys do not have a ounce of GM in them, in my opinion. And this is all my opinion because I
yeah,
know there's teammates on my team that I know who enjoy everything these guys do. And that's fine. That's great. But I do not. I don't think it's genuine. They do not. Teddy Long convinced me he was a general manager. Vince McMahon convinced me that. Even fucking retarded Eric Bischoff convinced me that. I mean, come on. Like, even Russo even made a convincing GM, but these guys do not. Like Nick Aldis, God love him, he tries, but go back and watch any promo spot with him in it.
I like I said, like I'll never like I don't think any of them were bad, but his role was mainly to help move the story forward, not so
Yeah.
much add to it.
I'm moving the story forward in my tiny suit,
He
in my squishy face.
I
Ooh, the story is moving. Look at it go. I
I
know what you're saying, Grun.
yeah,
I'm not dumb. I get it. And I see everybody's point. They do move the story along. But every week it is Nick Aldis in a small ass suit making squishy faces. It's 3 hours before Raw goes on. I know I'm going to see something on X, and I'm gonna see Adam Pierce's penis head looking fucking head on there. Hey guys, let me tell you about Raw today. We got an amazing thing. You guys are starting to sound like Tony Khan every time AEW goes live. This is the most amazing performance ever. Thank you, everybody. Fuck you, dude. Take Twitter away from that asshole. Jesus, that guy is like every move they make. Somebody takes a shit backstage at AEW, and Tony Khan is on fucking Twitter talking about it's the most amazing shit that has ever been shitted in AEW, and we got John Moxley, so we know shit. So you know, it's just so annoying nowadays with these guys. Like, I miss a GM coming out and be like, let me talk to you, player. I miss that because it's fun. It's something that is entertaining. And who didn't love when anytime Teddy Long got snatched up by one of the wrestlers? I could like this too. They should have a Tony Khan look-alike. That could be funny.
That would be hilarious.
I would enjoy that. All right, we're 8 minutes outside of Raw going live on Netflix. So fans, if there's any last comments you want to get out there, get it going. Let us hear what you got to say. Grun, we lost Kevin right after the first segment. He's got a new computer
issues.
Yeah, he's got some computer issues. He'll be back on next week, fans. So if you were here for the old Chaos Goblin himself, I'm sorry, but he'll be back. Don't you worry. We'll be doing everything that we do every Monday night on Raw at 7 p.m., an hour before Raw goes live. We do the review preview show. You've seen it here. You've seen me. You've seen Grun. You've seen what we do. This is IYH, baby. This is all we do. And we invite you to do things with us, too. Be in the chat like you've seen. Fighting's one is letting us know he will not be able to see Nick Aldis in the same way. Good. I like it. Good. We're molding wrestling opinions out here, Grun. Speaking of molding some opinions and seeing some views, Grun, let them know how they can find you and all the grunny, blue-eyed, villainous shit you do out in Philly. Let them know, Grun.
You can catch me at twitch.tv/Grunmiester, where I stream every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is my Grun's Dream SmackDown preview review show. Be sure to just jump over there right now, hit the follow button, because I am a sneaky streamer. So you never know when I'm going to go live with just some gaming.
Oh, he's a sneaky streamer, everybody. You need to pay attention to that, because when Grun goes live, and it's a fun time to be there and be a part of it. You can get in there and give him kissy faces and things like that. He loves all those things while he's going live. They really Grun smells like bad cabbage.
Oh yeah, well Lou, you smell like fish.
Oh yeah, and some dingle balls. All right, fans. So if you love what Grun does, you can always catch him here on the Raw Preview Review Show. That's every Monday at 7 p.m. We go live. You ever wonder what three friends think about Monday Night Raw? You're in luck, because this bearded trio has all that and more every Monday at 7 p.m. It is the Raw Preview Review Show, brought to you by IYH. So if you like that and you like to add a little more, maybe you like violence, maybe you like chairs, maybe you like barbed wire, well, we got you covered. It's the ECW Watch Along. That's on Thursdays at 5. Do you like violence mixed with a beautiful art of pro wrestling? Well, add a stud muffin named Joel, and you got Concept House and the voice Joshua Joseph for the ECW Watch Along, and that's every Thursday at 5 p.m. We get you right after you get off work. You're driving, you're pissed off, you want to slam somebody with the front end of your car. Don't do that. Tune into me in house, and we will show you some beautiful violence that you'll absolutely love. And if you're into that and you want to see some more, look at this. We got the Raw deal with House and O'Neill. This one is one of the biggest shows that we do here on IYH. You got the Concept House and Divinely Designed Annie O'Neill, ready to give you all that Monday Night Raw info. Wednesdays at 5 p.m. You can check them out and see what they do there. Lastly, my friends, we do a thing called the Sunday House Party, and that's every Sunday around noon. This is the main staple of IYH. This is the cream of the crop. This is where the big brains get together at IYH and we talk wrestling. We bring you in for a week of recaps. We talk about usually SmackDown. We usually talk about something that happened in Raw. If there was a PLE, don't worry, we got it covered and we'll let you know what we're thinking. We want to know what you're thinking. So jump in the chat, be a part of it. And that's Sunday around noon. So come check us out. Those are all our shows we're doing. We got the Smoke Sesh. That's usually a monthly type show where they jump on and they sesh it up. If you've ever been in a session with Jones, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a fun time and you should be a part of it. Fans, I want to take a moment out and just say we absolutely adore you guys being in here, giving us your time and your energy for your thumbs to do all the tapping. We really appreciate it. Here at IYH, we are trying our damnedest to get to where we need to go and where everybody knows we can be. And you're a part of that. You guys out there liking, subscribing, and sharing. When you guys comment on the things that we post, that really resonates with us and it really puts us up in the algorithms and boosts us to where more people can see more of what we do. And honestly, the more people that see it and the more we can get some traction, the more we can do here at IYH. And we definitely want to be able to give you damn near everything we possibly can. We absolutely love this form of entertainment. IYH has given me and Grun a home in which we are actually allowed to be ourselves. If you think this is anything different than what you're seeing, what we do in real life, this is us, guys. This is how we are. If you got into our chats, well, you'd probably have to dox us because we do say some wild shit. But, that's life, and you don't get to see those chats. Those are under wraps. So, again, fans, we appreciate everything you do for us, and there's so much out there. If you want to support us even more, we have merch lines out there. Go check that out. You can get yourself some shirts. We're gonna have some commercials coming out. I got to get those recorded, and Grun, I think I've covered everything. This was almost like a fucking production meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
the ones you fall asleep in, sipping on cappuccinos.
That's not me. I don't fall asleep during
Yeah.
those meetings.
He does, guys. He goes out. He goes to the strip clubs at 3 p.m. And he just gets trashed. We have production at 5:30. Grun comes in. Sometimes there's a Philly stripper. I've seen some things. I've been to war, my friends. And what would help us out is if you go out there and you subscribe and buy our merch, because I got to get a lobotomy after the things that I've been exposed to from Grun as a friend. Fans, we love you and we appreciate everything you do for us. And we will catch you on the next one.